Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boscamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Happy Halloween, it's Friday, October 31st. Wednesday's fire that broke out at the Gregory Gin Company cotton gin is 90% contained, according to the latest update from Texas A&M Forest Service. Crews from across the county have worked together to put out the blaze, including departments from Sinton, Taft, and Ingleside. Several streets, as well as Stephen F. Austin Elementary School in Gregory, remain closed today. Several Red Cross shelters in the area remain open through Sunday. The Texas A&M Forest Service will continue to assist with containment efforts while investigators work to determine the cause of the fire. The center span of the old Harbor Bridge finally came down yesterday after much anticipation this week. Yesterday's clear skies and calm winds made for the right conditions to finally lower it. The process for lowering the bridge's center span took over 9 hours. Throughout the week, spectators have gathered in person and online to catch a final glimpse of the bridge before the over 60-year-old center span was lowered. Windy conditions had delayed the process for several days. TxDOT confirmed that barge Prometheus, along with the center span it's carrying, were taken to a dock at the port of Corpus Christi's Inner Harbor. TxDOT has not confirmed when the entire bridge will be completely removed. The city of McAllen says they're in touch with congressional lawmakers about the decision regarding the Department of Transportation cutting Aeroméxico flights out of the McAllen International Airport. DOT first announced this week it would cut flights from 13 Mexican carriers into the United States. The cancellation affects Aeroméxico flights between McAllen International Airport and the Felipe Ángeles International Airport in Mexico City. DOT says the decision was because of Mexico illegally canceling and freezing U.S. carrier flights for 3 years. KRGV reports that the city of McAllen is actively working with federal congressional leaders to safeguard the direct air connection between McAllen International Airport and Mexico City. For now, all flights remain on schedule, including Aeroméxico's route to Mexico City. Beginning tomorrow, nearly 42 million people across the country who rely on SNAP benefits will have that funding halted due to the government shutdown. Coming up in just a few minutes, I speak with Cadle, President and CEO of Food Bank of the Golden Crescent, about the upcoming sunset of SNAP funding and how they're preparing for the changes. Although the U.S. Department of Agriculture is cutting funding for the Food Assistance Program, the Texas Department of Agriculture says funding for school meals will continue. In a statement, Texas Agriculture Commission Sid Miller says his department has, quote, instituted safeguards and that school districts across the state will continue to be reimbursed for school meals, quote, on schedule. Miller's agency later said it would continue to receive federal funding for school meals during the shutdown. USDA distributes funding for free and reduced price school meals through state agencies, and the federal agency has not announced a pause in funding for the program during the government shutdown. Texas advocates say child care subsidies provided by regional workforce boards are not currently at risk from the government shutdown. Ken Coffrin with Children at Risk says that's because the subsidies are first funneled through the Texas Workforce Commission.
That funding is currently safe from any of the federal shutdown. It's a part of the budget, so it's getting funded through the state agencies, and we haven't heard any rumblings of that stopping anytime soon.
The Texas Workforce Commission gets federal funding from Child Development Block Grants. Access to child care got worse last year across Texas. That's according to an analysis of child care deserts by Children at Risk. Coffrin says the state lost nearly 75,000 child care seats in 2024.
I'm anxious to get 2025's data to see, did we hold? Are we maintaining the number that we currently are at? Or did we dip some more? We know no more money got really invested into supporting programs, so I'm not anticipating a big jump.
According to their analysis, more than 400 zip codes across Texas are child care deserts. Nearly 800 zip codes don't have enough subsidized child care to be affordable for families. Today is the last day for early voting for Texas's November 4th election. In addition to local ballot measures, every Texas voter will have a chance to decide on 17 proposed amendments to the state's constitution. And so far, voter turnout across the state has been low. Out of more than 18 million Texans who are registered, only about 900,000 have cast ballots so far as of last update. And low turnout means it's likely less than 10% of registered voters in the state will end up deciding whether these 17 amendments pass or fail. They touch on everything from taxes to a multi-billion-dollar water fund for the state. Meanwhile, in Victoria, ballots will see 2 local propositions. Proposition A focuses on the adoption of the Firefighters and Police Officers Civil Service Law for the Victoria Fire Department. Proposition B would establish collective bargaining for firefighters if a majority of the affected employees favor representation by an employees association. It also preserves prohibition against strikes and lockouts and provides penalties for strikes and lockouts for the Victoria Fire Department. In sports, the Texas A&M Corpus Christi soccer team punched its ticket to the postseason in its season finale last night. They took down University of Incarnate Word 2-1 to secure the 7th seed in the Southland Conference Soccer Championship Tournament. Emma Lucero and Morgan Westbury each scored goals for the Islanders in last night's win. In the Rio Grande Valley, UTRGV Vaqueros Volleyball earned a 3-1 win last night over Texas A&M Corpus Christi in front of over 1,000 fans at UTRGV Fieldhouse. A solid showing for the victorious Vaqueros as redshirt sophomore middle blocker and Harlingen High alum Juliana Bryant finished with 13 kills on .667 hitting with 3 blocks. Junior outside hitter Nadine Zek had 15 kills on .333 hitting. Freshman outside hitter Demetra Nanu added 12 kills with 8 digs and 3 aces. And junior middle blocker Aaliyah Sneed had 10 kills with 3 blocks. The victory extends the Vaqueros Southland Conference winning streak to 9 matches. Vaqueros are now tied with Stephen F. Austin at the top of the SLC standings. The Islanders fall to 5-6 in conference play, are now tied with East Texas A&M for 7th place. UTRGV and TAMUCC will continue their South Texas Showdown rivalry series this weekend. Tomorrow afternoon, the Islanders and Vaqueros volleyball teams run it back, this time at TAMUCC's Dugan Wellness Center. And this morning, the cross-country teams took part in the Southland Conference Championship meet in Natchitoches, Louisiana, on the campus of Northwestern State University. In college football, UTRGV heads to Nacogdoches, Texas to face Stephen F. Austin. The Vaqueros are hoping to improve to 3-2 in Southland Conference play. Texas A&M Kingsville also on the road tomorrow night. They take on West Texas A&M in Lone Star Conference action. Javelinas are currently 2-4 in conference standings. Meanwhile, the Corpus Christi Ice Rays are off this weekend. And as mentioned a few minutes earlier, SNAP benefits for 42 million people in the country will be cut beginning tomorrow due to the government shutdown, and that has taken a toll on families and the institutions that provide those resources. Joining me on South Texas Midday is Robin Cadle, President and CEO of Food Bank of the Golden Crescent, which services in an area that includes Victoria, Goliad, and Calhoun counties. Robin, great to have you on South Texas Midday. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
It's good to be here. Thanks for calling.
Of course. The SNAP food benefits are going to be suspended beginning tomorrow due to the government shutdown. How much of an increase does the food bank expect to see with food assistance requests once those benefits are halted?
I don't really know what to expect. I know that in Victoria, in our service area of 11 counties, we have potentially over 19,000 families that are on the SNAP benefits program. So across our 11 counties, I'm sure we're going to see a longer increase in our line and more people coming to the food pantries.
Are any services going to be affected by the increase in demand and the possible limited supply? Is that going to limit how much is being distributed?
Absolutely. It's going to place additional strain on already limited resources that we have. During COVID and hurricanes and stuff like that, we have a whole lot more food to pass out. That's not going to be the case right now, so people will get less because that's what we have. We remain committed to serving, but the need is growing so much faster than our resources.
And you can only do so much with what you have currently.
Right, because earlier in the year, our federal commodities have been reduced by 42%. So we're getting 42% less food from the federal government than we've gotten in the past. With that situation already happening and then this, you can see where that leads us.
Does the food bank have any projections on what the distribution and or turnout's going to look like on this first week once benefits are suspended?
I don't have a clue, but I know we've seen an uptick in registration and phone calls.
What is being done by the community to help out at this time?
Oh, our community's been doing food drives and people have been coming in making monetary donations. The community is coming in to volunteer. They're working on food drives to help bring in additional food, and we have donors who are coming, stepping up and donating all of this together. But this is what they normally do on a regular basis. Some of them have increased their donations. Some have added more food drives than they normally do. But this time of the year usually creates quite a bit of food drive.
Is there any way to gauge if there's an increase in first-time givers as well?
There is, but it will not be for several months that when we run that report.
For someone who's listening to this and they want to help, what could they do to offer that assistance?
The best thing for every food bank in the state of Texas right now is monetary donations. That helps us purchase food. We can purchase food a lot cheaper than they can go out to the grocery store and buy soups and stuff like that. So the monetary donations go the furthest. They can do food drives, but that is also labor intensive for us. We have to sort through that, check the cans, make sure everything's okay, repackage, and then put in boxes for our inventory. not any one particular food that's flying off the shelf faster than others. There's always a great need for cereal, soups, ready-to-eat products, but primarily shelf-stable.
What could residents do if they're in a situation where they know they need help?
In our area, we encourage people to call the food bank at 361-578-0591. They will be asked what county they're living in. Then we'll direct them to the food pantries that are in that area. Or if we have a mobile distribution, we will send them over so that we can get them registered. We're registering people for mobile distribution, but we also have to let people know that our mobile distribution, you have to be registered, and it's first come, first served, and it's while supplies last. So we don't have unending supplies.
Anything else that you would like to add?
We just appreciate the community support and patience as we all navigate these new environment and hope that it gets resolved soon.
That is Robin Cadle, President and CEO of Food Bank of the Golden Crescent. Robin, thank you so much for your time.
We appreciate you calling and helping us share our story. Many of the food banks were all kind of in the same situation with our communities. Our communities are resilient, but with the need outpacing the resources, it makes it difficult.
That is Robin Cadle, President and CEO of Food Bank of the Golden Crescent, which services households in Victoria and surrounding counties. Beginning tomorrow, SNAP funding will be sunset for many of those households and millions across the country. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boscamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.